Well, being an international student definitely comes with its challenges. Add in the additional challenges of being a student athlete, and you can have one formidable task on your hands. But thriving in that spotlight is what my next guest does best. Jake Wilson, BGSU Centerfielder. How are you today, Jake?
I'm good. How about you, Leo?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for being here.
No problem.
So let's flash it back a little bit. We'll talk about being an international student. It's 2015. You're in your senior year of Nottawasaga Pines Secondary School in Canada.
Okay.
Now, you have a couple of choices on your hands. You can stay in Canada or try and further your college baseball career here in the land of the Big Mac. What made you decide to leave your homeland and come over to America to continue your college baseball career?
Well, it's always been a dream of mine to play baseball at a high level and also hopefully get school paid for and all that. And my brother did it first. He attended Davenport University. He's now a D2 school in Michigan. And I remember I was moving him in my sophomore year of high school, and the campus and the classes and what all these student athletes get just blew my mind. And since then I was like, I want to do this. I want to be at a school like this. So ever since then, it's always been my priority to come down here and play baseball. And he just showed me, my brother showed me what it takes and what you have to do to be able to get there. And I tried to do it all to the best of my abilities, and I'm more than happy with my choice here at Bowling Green.
Now, you brought up your brother, who you mentioned plays college baseball at Davenport. You've told me how big of an influence he is on you. Do you think if he hadn't played college baseball at Davenport, or if he had maybe stayed in Canada, do you think you would have made the same choice to come to America and play college baseball?
I wouldn't say I'd make the same choice, but I probably would have been not as motivated, because he really helped me get motivated. And also my dad, he really lead me the right way when my brother was away from school or away to school. He said, you can do what your brother can do. And even if my brother wasn't able to do that, my dad would be able to say, hey, keep working hard. You can get your schools paid for. You can play school or baseball at a big school and just have the time of your life. So I don't think it would have stopped me from going, but him going to school down in the States really, really helped motivate me.
Now, being from Canada, I have to ask, how often do you get comments from the rest of the team about maple syrup, and being super polite?
All of them.
All of them?
All the above, all the time. All the above, all the time, every day. I don't stop hearing it.
Never at all?
Never. Never stop.
I know you're a big fan of poutine. We've talked about it all the time.
Yeah.
You can't just go out and get poutine anywhere here. Do you miss having poutine readily accessible?
Oh, yeah, in high school, I remember during lunch break, we'd go out. There was this one spot. It was in a strip mall by our high school. And we'd always go out there and get some poutines, and it was to die for. My favorite.
Now, for those who don't know, poutine is a Canadian dish that combines the three elements of food: fries, cheese curds, and gravy. And I know that doesn't sound great, but it is terrific and terrible for your heart. Now, you got a dog right before the season. I know you love that dog named Dougie.
Oh, yeah.
Now, how helpful is it, maybe after a bad game or, a bad day at school, how helpful is it to come home and kind of have that dog there as a stress reliever?
Oh, it helps so much because, being a student athlete, you have so much stress put on you. You got what every student gets put on for stress, exams, studying, doing all these big assignments. And then add on top of that, you got to perform, you got to lift, you got to go to practice. You will probably miss classes for your season. So having a stressful day and coming back to him, because he's always happy, he makes me happy. So it helps really relieve the stress. And to play baseball and to be successful in life, school, and baseball, you got to be relaxed. You can't be too stressed. So it's important.
Where'd you get the name Dougie?
Well, my summer ball family this past summer, their dog was named Doug. And I fell in love with this dog, and I fell in love with the name, and I'm just I got to use this name for my dog.
So let's talk about 2016 for a second, specifically the 2016 MLB draft. You were the 39th round pick of the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
You've told me the story several times. I know people would love to hear it because you didn't even realize what was going on when you got drafted. I believe you said you were on a plane, correct?
Not quite on a plane, but I was down in Cincinnati in a tournament with my travel ball team, and I was in the parking lot with my dad, and we're traveling with my teammate and his dad, and they're in the grocery store, and I was just sitting there. I have no service because I'm in America. I have a Canadian plan, so I can't look at social media. I can't get any texts, and my dad's the only one with some data, so he was just scrolling through the picks. So I'm looking for my one teammate, Max Wright. He didn't get picked up, and we thought he was going to, so we're scrolling through it looking for it, and then he saw my name pop up, and he was in the front seat, and I was in the back seat. He's like, "Hey, Jake." I was like, "What, Dad?" He's like, you just got drafted. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you got drafted by the Boston Red Sox. I was like, no way. And then we drove back to my hotel like right after that, and right when I got Wi-Fi, my phone's blowing up with notifications. It's unbelievable. Like still to this day, I can't believe it happened.
Now, was that the coolest experience you've ever had as far as baseball?
I'd for sure say it's one of them. Yeah, like there's so many like great things that came with baseball, but that's for sure has to be up there.
So we've talked about 2016, talked a little bit about 2015. 2017 was incredible. You came in as this freshman, and with freshmen, it's like Forrest Gump says about a box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get. And 2017 was a great year for you. You got named to the All-MAC freshman team. What did you take from 2017 into 2018? What did you learn and bring with you as far as the skill set goes?
Well, one thing I learned was my freshman year, like I had a few errors, and like I did have like a few slumps like every hitter has. And I remember Tony Landy, our captain at the time, took me to the side and just said, hey, just relax. Like, you can't control everything in baseball. Just relax and just keep playing the game and just have fun. And that's one big thing I've really taken over from my freshman year to my sophomore year, and like to this year I will take over. Like, just being relaxed and like having no stress helps a lot with you succeeding on the baseball field.
Well, let's talk about that sophomore year for you. There were high expectations for you after your aforementioned terrific 2017 campaign. You had a really good start, but then an upper body injury kind of derailed you a little bit. Did your confidence dip a little bit after that injury?
Yeah, it obviously dipped a lot actually, because like I wasn't able to play, so I was just sitting there on the sidelines watching my team play, and like everyone's talking about like how they did, how they felt. Like I couldn't participate in those conversations, and it just hurt because I knew I couldn't help anyone. I couldn't help my team. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't represent my family, my country. Like it just hit me like on a personal level, and it did get me into a big rut that I had to get out of, because I knew like right when I get back on that field, I got a lot to make up for, because I missed so much of the season, and my stats were just down deep, and our team wasn't doing too well, so I had to try and help develop some wins too.
Well, let's talk about that injury for a second. It was an upper body injury. I believe you said it was a neck injury. Now, what was the rehabbing process like with that? Because this isn't like an injury that you can just, kind of play through. This is a very serious thing, because the neck is obviously a big thing with the spine, and that can affect you for the rest of your life. So talk about that rehab process that you went through.
Like, it took a while, because you got to take every precaution. You can't rush this process, because like if you do, only bad things will probably happen. So like my athletic trainer, my coaches, myself, and we work with some physical therapists and doctors in Michigan, and they just told me like I had to go through like this certain PT program. I had to do some certain vision drills, and they told me I gotta just relax, take my time, don't try and rush through it, and you will get back on the field. We promise you that. So like I had to first get diagnosed by some doctors that it was a cervical neck muscle strain, and it sort of like threw off like some proprioceptors just a little bit. So I had to see some PTs at the same clinic where I saw the doctors, and they helped me do some vision drills where like they would like move a target, I gotta follow it with my eyes. And I also had to do this one drill where there was a physical therapist on one side and the athletic trainer on the other side, and they both had a golf ball and a tennis ball in my hands, and one of them would yell left, and I have to turn and face them, and then throw either the tennis ball or the golf ball, and I have to catch it and throw it back, and then the other one would say right, and I have to flip that way, and I have to catch the tennis ball or the golf ball. So it really focused on my motor development and my visual proprioceptors.
Very strenuous and challenging process, to say the least. Now, you bounced back from that interview. Second half of 2018, some video game stuff, to say the least. A 1,000 fielding percentage, 28-game on-base streak, 14-game hitting streak, multiple 3 or more hit games, all while coming back from this very serious upper body injury. How did you do it after the injury, the confidence dip, and the stat dip? How did you do all that in the second half of the season?
Definitely a lot of help from my teammates, my family, and like all my friends. They helped motivate me, like saying that you still have so much season left, you still have so many at-bats to go through, and so many fielding opportunities that you will bounce back and you can bounce back. And I obviously was very, very angry with myself, because like how can you not be angry, not be able to play, not be able to do well, not be able to help your team? So like I had some fire under me, and I was so motivated just to get back on that field and just do as best I can for the team and get some wins. So like till this day, I couldn't tell you how I did it. I just remember being so motivated to win and do better than the pitcher that I was facing.
So those of us in Bowling Green know that you are, without a doubt, a terrific center fielder. But last year kind of solidified that. You were named the best center fielder in the Mid-American Conference for 2018. What does an honor like that mean to you?
It honestly feels great because like defense wins you championships, and a lot of people overlook sort of like the outfielders' defensive skills. Like everyone thinks about the catchers, the pitchers, and the infielders being solid at D. But I think like being an outfielder and having that strong defensive component is very like essential to getting wins and like stopping runs like from coming in. And it's a huge honor to be able to be named one of the best or the best center fielder in the conference, and I want to keep that going. I don't want to stop that, and like again, it's just a huge honor to be named that.
So last year, a good amount of your team graduated, and a lot of leaders, I should say. Randy Ryder, Derek Dravis, Justin Mott are all gone. They've gone on and graduated, and it seems like the middle of your lineup has kind of been gutted a little bit. Do you kind of feel any extra pressure to step up now and be that guy for your team in 2019?
I feel no pressure because I know the freshmen we brought in, the freshman pitchers and the freshman hitters, they are very, very talented guys, very talented ball players, and I feel no pressure because I know if I were to fail in a big opportunity, I know the guy behind me is going to pick me up or the guy behind him is going to pick him up. And I have a lot of confidence in my teammates and with the new pitchers coming in that they'll get the job done, and I think we'll be better than we ever were in the three years I've been here.
Now, a lot of pitchers graduated as well, but there's still a lot of youthful arms for you guys. You got guys like Jeremy Spezia. You got guys like Damon Agnor. You got just a stacked bullpen, and you got guys in the rotation. Chase Antle's a guy who's got some heavy expectations coming into this year. So even with a new pitching coaches, there's still kind of a sense of, well, no matter what happens, injuries, high ERAs, it doesn't matter because we still have the next guy up ready to go.
Oh yeah, like every team gets the injury bug once in a while, and even if, like, say our best pitcher were to get injured, I still have so much confidence in the guys behind him and all the pitchers in our bullpen that they'll get the job done. And with our new pitching coach, I've only heard nothing but good things, and like I have so much confidence in him that he'll get our pitchers to the top of the MAC in any pitching stat there is. And I just have a lot of confidence in all my guys that they'll do the job. So no matter what happens, injury bug, someone might be in a little bit of a slump, have a high ERA, I just know there's a guy behind him that'll pick him up, and I know that guy that's struggling will get back to it because he obviously won't like to lose because these are a bunch of competitive guys and they don't like to lose.
Kyle Halleck is the new pitching coach. What's your impression been of him so far, and what kind of sets him apart from other guys that you've seen so far?
He knows, like, at least from my perspective, he knows almost everything about the pitching mechanics, not only the mechanical part, but he's big on the mental part. He always talks about knowing that you're going to beat the guy that comes up to you. Always visualize who you're going to face. I remember I was hitting in the cage with RJ and Ty Sunken, and we're hitting in the cage because the outfielders were doing our own stuff. Everyone else was doing the team defenses, and he came over to, I think it was RJ that was hitting, and he's like, RJ, who are you hitting against? And Ty Sunken was throwing him front toss. He's like, Ty Sunken? He's like, no, visualize who you're going to face. Toledo's Friday guy, Kent State's Sunday guy, Ohio's closer. He wants us to visualize them because if we can beat them in front toss or BP, we'll be able to beat them up on the field. So like what he's done not only for the pitchers but for the hitters, it's just unbelievable.
So the last time BG won a MAC championship for baseball, you were still in high school. Why is that the year that this is going to change?
We're just filled with talent, guys that don't like to lose, guys that refuse to lose. And not just that, we have coaches that know what they're talking about and know how to get us to the next level. And this year I think it's the change. It's the change we needed, and it's the change that we didn't or couldn't do in the past couple of years. So I believe so much in my teammates that they'll get the job done, and in my coaches.
Speaking of coaches, Danny Schmitz is entering his 28th season at the helm. He's been there longer than you and I have been alive.
Yeah.
What does it do for a team to have a guy with his experience? I mean, he's seen things that we can't even fathom on the baseball field. What does it do for a team to have a guy with his level of experience at the helm?
It just helps you so much because, like you said, he's been around baseball longer than we both been alive, especially at Bowling Green. And like he knows so many things about baseball that it just blows my mind. Like there's little things that I may have messed up on the base pass or in the outfield that I didn't even notice. And he'd tell me like, hey, try this. It's just the little things like tricking runners when I'm trying to throw them out, or tricking the defense when I'm running, like just little dekes and stuff like that. Like he's just unbelievable amount of knowledge in the game, and like just to have that guy on your side just helps you so much, and the amount of respect that all the guys have for him just because he's been around the games for so long and has had success, and knows the little things that help us win.
Now, I know you guys get medals for winning the MAC, but there's been some rumbling that you guys would also get some pretty nice rings. Now, does that add a little bit of extra motivation that you get a little ice on your finger if you guys win the MAC?
Well, I mean, like a medal, a ring, a trophy, whatever you get, like that's extra, that's just gravy, but like just being able to say you were the best team in the MAC, that you be able to go on to the regionals, the super regionals, for you to just keep going and be able to say you're the best is more than good enough for me. Having a ring, having a medal, just extra stuff you can get.
First game's a little over 2 months away against Middle Tennessee State. What does your team have left to do to prepare and be ready for the start of the season?
Well, we got obviously the Christmas break coming up, and I have confidence in my guys that they'll stay in shape, they'll continue and maintain the strength they've had and even get even stronger. And really just keep on maintenance, keeping our maintenance up, like keeping our body healthy, keeping us strong. And really that's the only thing I can really see us just keep on doing, just keep getting stronger, keep getting faster, keep throwing harder, just keep doing all the good stuff.
Jake, best of luck this year to you and best of luck to the team.
Thank you.